Hi, this is Tim, and welcome to Talks with Tim Live. Michael, how are all our statistics looking over there? Everything looking good? Almost. Okay, we're almost looking good. That's better than not looking good, I guess. But all right, a little bit about today. So, this is our third live stream, and we're going to have a little more structure in this one. We're going to be talking about various methods of sequencing machine steps, and this one, we're going to try to make, a lot of you ask, can we break this up into some individual videos? We're going to maybe try that. We'll see how it goes. And also, we're going to try to add some chapters. So like I said, the other ones, they've kind of been exploratory, so it's really hard to organize something that was really, hey, let's see what's going on here. So this one, hopefully, will go a little better. So just a little bit about what all we will be going over is I have these in Studio 5000. Now we're actually going to do these in Connected Components Workbench, and there's a couple reasons for that. Is one, I have a lot of people lately have said they're really struggling with Connected Components Workbench because it's so much different than Studio 5000. You can't just use the same programs in one that you would use in the other. And all these that I've written today, at least I believe, will work in Connected Components Workbench. That's what we're going to find out. But I believe if you're using, we'll call it really sound code, I believe it is transferable easily from Studio 5000 to Connected Components Workbench. Actually, I believe it's probably transferable across most PLC platforms. And so what we're going to do today is, first we're going to have a basic counter. And this is kind of what we went through in our first live stream about my first RsLogix program. So we're going to write this one, and then we're going to do a hybrid of it that I think may work a little better. And then we're going to go through the CLM because, see, Jeff Kuiper, this is one that he recommended. So we're going to go through that one. And then we'll have a Latch Unlatch. And we're going to do the bit shift left. I'm not a big fan of this one, but this one was requested several times this week. So we're going to go through it. And then we're going to hit a method of using a move instruction to track it. And we did talk about this in the last video. And then we're going to have something similar. It's a multiply way of sequencing. And finally, we're going to have this one right here. This is the one that actually I think today I'd recommend, but we'll save it until we go through all these so we can kind of see the pros and cons of it. Let's see what else is on my list today. All right, well, so we're going to be doing this in Connected Components Workbench. Another reason we're doing it is that you can download Connected Components Workbench for free. So that just opens it up to a lot more people. In fact, right now I'm going to drop a link into chat where you can download the Connected Components Workbench software. Also, I didn't mention, in chat today, we are going to have a little bit of a drawing on getting people to participate in chat. Originally, the reason everybody wanted the live stream was so they could ask questions and get kind of immediate feedback or kind of steer, where these episodes were going. And I get emails after every single live stream saying, I had this question, but I didn't know if it was a dumb question, so I didn't want to ask it. There are no dumb questions. So put all your questions in chat. And for everybody participating in chat today, you will be entered into a drawing to get 10% off your next PLC trainer or PLC tools purchase from TW Controls. Now, participation does not mean saying hi. Now, go ahead and say hi. You can say hi in chat, but that doesn't count as participation. So ask a question or suggest something, or even if you think my method is bad, just say, hey, I think your method is bad. So, all right, I did drop that link in there. So this link here in chat will take you to how to download Connected Components Workbench, which let me just pop that over here. And while we're here, we put out a newsletter every week that has a new automation tip, or mainly a new lesson. If you scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see that you can sign up for our newsletter there. So go ahead and drop your email address into it. It's not real sales pitchy, really. It's, hey, we just posted this video. Go check it out. And speaking of videos, it's also very helpful if you subscribe to our channel. So right here, if you'll click on the YouTube video or any of our videos, you'll see that red subscribe button. If you'll hit that, it helps us out a whole lot. But everyone said that they wanted to see sequencing from the ground up. Well, you're going to see it vary from the ground up because I was short on time today and I didn't have time to wire this Micro820 trainer. So we're going to take it from wiring the Micro820 to some buttons and some lights just to give us something basic. We're not doing any exotic sequencing here because really if you understand the fundamentals you can add anything to it. But we're going to use this wiring diagram. Let me get it over here. We're going to be using this wiring diagram to wire up our Micro820. So mainly on this side we're going to put jumpers from all of our normally open contacts of our 4 buttons and our switch, and we're going to take it to 24 volts, and then we're going to connect them to input 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8. And the most often overlooked is we're going to take this COM0 here, which is the common for all of these terminals, and we're going to take it to our minus 24 volt. And then on the other side, we're going to jumper one side of all our lights, and it's going to go to the minus of our 24. And then we're going to take light number 1 is going to go to output 0, 2 to output 1, light 3 to output 3, light 3 to output 2, and light 4 to output 3. So just a little bit, this is one of our standard PLC trainers. Let me just spin it around where you can see exactly what we're doing. Is in the end, what we're going to be doing is we're wiring up these 4 buttons right here and these 4 lights, just to give us something to sequence. And the way this is going to work is we're going to be in step 1, and when you press button 1, it's going to go to step 2. Press button 2 is going to go to step 3. And then at least to add a little variability, we're going to make it where if you press button 3 for at least 3 seconds, it'll go to step 4. Press that, it's going to go back and repeat itself. Just so we can talk about methods of sequencing. So I'm going to grab some wire and go ahead and hook up just these jumper wires. I'm just going to jumper all of, well actually not all, we're going to go from switch 1 through button 1. And this is going to be the green contacts. That's going to be our normally open contacts. So I have one wire in the first one, and I'll take that wire and another wire and I'll put it into button 2. And then I'll take that wire and another wire and put it in button 3. And then I'll take that wire and another wire and put it in button 4. And then I'll take that wire and an additional wire and put it into switch 1. So that is going to jumper all of these, and I'm going to connect this to our plus 24 volt. And that'll be any of the left terminals right here. And now, if I go back to my wiring diagram, then I see that button 1, the other side of this green contact, needs to go to input 4, and then they're just going to sequentially go to 5, 6, 7, and 8. And Michael is saying that I need to look at my chat. Are those wire diagrams on your webpage? That is an excellent question, Laura, and yes, they are. Let me go here and get that link for you. So all of our standard wiring diagrams can be found. Let's see, wiring diagrams at that link. And this actually includes our control panel wiring diagrams also, but if you'll scroll down, then here you can find all the wiring diagrams. And the one that we're using right now is this TRN-BAS-M820AOI. That's what we're going to use. Great question, thank you. But okay, so the other side of button 1 is going to go to input 4, and then they're just going to sequentially go up to 5, 6, 7, and 8. So I am going to connect a wire to the bottom of button 1. It's green contact. And I'm going to connect it to input 4. Now that may not be that clear. I did grab a picture of this. So if we're looking at the top of this, then you've got a 10 volt reference, you've got a minus 24. We're not using those. And then we have input 0, which actually on our drawing goes to the potentiometer, but for this exercise we're not going to need it. But then we're starting right here. So button 1 is going to go to input 4, and then button 2, button 3, button 4, and then switch 1. So that's what we're going to be doing. All right, so I have a wire to button 1 going to input 4. Now I'll take a wire from button 2, and it'll go to input 5. Button 3, go to input 6, then button 4, go to input 7, oops, wrong wire. Input 7, and then finally switch 1 goes to input 8. Now, absolutely the most left out piece when wiring your inputs is this COM0 right here. It doesn't really show up as maybe necessary when you're starting out, but this is what is going to complete your circuit. And so we always want to ask ourselves, do I have current? So I'm sending plus 24 volt to a button, and I'm coming back to input 4, but I have to complete the circuit to this minus DC right here. And that's going to be done with this COM0 coming down to minus DC. So I am going to connect a wire from COM0 to DC minus, which is any of the right set of terminals. And Michael says I have a question that I need to look at. Oh, okay, you know, and this is something I really want somebody to help me with. I use a really old version of AutoCAD, David, and I mean, like, it's really dated. I need to do better. Another David is recommending SkyCAD, and I have heard of SkyCAD, but that's something I need to update myself on. I probably need to go to a training class and really get up to speed. I've just kind of fallen behind on it. There's a lot of great time-saving ways of doing CAD out there. So yeah, anybody who has good recommendations, put them in the chat. All right, so that takes care of all of our input wiring here. So now we need to wire our outputs, and I'm just going to start by doing these jumpers to one side of each of our light and going to the minus DC. And on these particular lights, it doesn't matter plus and minus, so I'm just going to arbitrarily start connecting on one side and just keep jumping. So I'm going to take one wire to the right side of my light, and then I'm going to take it and an additional wire to light 2. And then I'm going to take it and an additional wire to light 3. And I'll take it and an additional wire to light 4. And then if we look here, all of these are jumpered together, and then that wire is going to go to our minus DC. So I'm just going to connect it to the right set of terminals. Let's see. So it looks like the switches are sourcing to the PLC inputs. No, Rod, they are syncing. And so if we can, man, Rod, I should have had that link ready. I'm gonna have to go dig a link out really fast. But no, the way to remember it is if it's sourcing, then you're gonna send power out of the input, and then it's gonna go to the 0 volt. In this case, we're taking power from the plus through one of our contacts and taking here, and we're syncing it to the minus. Let me, that actually, I should have had that one ready. Let me find a link here to a syncing and sourcing video that we have that kind of explains that, and kind of actually, I should have printed that out because this really helps you understand what, not only what syncing and sourcing is, but kind of some shortcuts to help you figure out which way to wire each one of them. So let's see, syncing and sourcing. There you go. Yeah, check that video there out. All right, so, okay, I've connected all these to the minus. And since we're at it, these are sourcing outputs. And it's really confusing because typically if you have syncing inputs, you will have sourcing outputs. Rare that it, actually, pretty rare it doesn't work that way. So in this case, these are the source of the power. So we're sending 24 volt out of them and going to our lights. Also, Rod, you definitely, you want to check out that video because what I just told you about syncing and sourcing is for Allen Bradley. It's also for many others, but there are some PLC manufacturers that do the opposite. Some of them do opposite on just the output. And then if I recall from that video, there was actually one manufacturer that swapped the terms even on their same model PLC as they go through a manual. So they are very confusing terms. So that's why I always like to see a diagram just to see how exactly we're going to do it. But okay, now we're going to connect the other side of these lights. So light 1 goes to output 0, 2 to 1, and they're just going to sequentially go up. So mainly you need to get that first one right. Light 1 is going to go to output 0. Let's see. Looks to me like the input module is syncing to the negative of the power supply. Yes, Rod, you're correct. Yeah, so they are syncing inputs. Yes. All right. So we're going to go here. All right, so light 1. Oops. It's going to go to output 0. And then light 2. It's going to go to output 1. And light 3. Is going to go to output 2. And finally, light 4 is going to go to output 3. All right, yeah, Kevin's also recommended E-Plan here. I hear lots of good things about E-Plan. I have never actually played with E-Plan, but I know it is a very good one. And yeah, I probably should just get some of them to play with and maybe yeah, do some upgrades to my CAD drawings. All right, so we have now connected light 1, 2, 3, and 4 to all their outputs, but we haven't actually powered outputs. And again, this is something I see a lot is people leave out these commons. Now, here's one thing to be really cautious of on this, is a lot of people will say, well, if you want syncing outputs, then you hook up CM0. And if you want sourcing, you hook up CM plus CM, I'm sorry, if you want syncing, you hook up minus CM0. And if you want sourcing, you hook up plus CM0. No, that's not so. This is a sourcing output module. So we're gonna need to hook up definitely the input, plus 24 to the plus CM0. But we're also going to need to hook up this minus CM0 right here, because if you don't connect it, you'll see your outputs glow slightly when they're off. I actually have a video on that. Man, I just need to should have had a list of links ready to go here. Let me see if I can find that one really quickly. Well, not really quickly. So I will, if somebody really wants that, I will try to find it later. Let's see, Alex, if you were using proximity switches instead of push buttons, the proximity switches would need to be PNP based on your wiring, correct? You're absolutely correct. In that case, yeah, PNP is going to send out plus 24 to the input. NPN is going to take it to ground. So yes, in this case, we need a PNP type sensor to connect to these. But okay, so next I'm going to connect the plus CM0 to our plus 24 and our minus CM0 to the minus. Also, I do have a close-up of this because I just thought about it. You can't really see the bottom of this PLC, just to make sure we have a good idea of what we're doing here. Here's a close-up of the bottom of this PLC. And so light 1 we hooked to output 0, which is O-00. Light 2 went to 1, light 3 went to 2, and light 4 went to 3. And now I'm hooking plus 24 volt, or the left set of terminals on the trainer, to the plus CM0, and I'm going to hook minus 24 volt or 0 volt from the right set of terminals to the minus CM0. So I have my plus 24 volt going to plus CM0. Hey, will you shut that off? And then I have the minus CM0 going to the minus. Okay, and that covers all of our wiring, and I know it looks a little messy, but honestly, I will tear this down for this may get torn down and rewired 4 or 5 times today after this live stream to do some videos. Now, one thing I am going to do, and actually I don't recommend doing this normally, it's stuff I want you to be able to see everything, is I'm going to relocate this PLC to the front of the trainer. Also, I didn't actually mention yet, we do need to connect plus 24 volt and the minus 24 volt to power the PLC. This is already done on your trainer, and in this case, I've already moved that power up to the front side here. Whoops, I'm going to spin the other way. So I'm just going to snap this over here. That way I don't have to spin the trainer any during this. Yeah, final connection is we're going to hit minus 24 volt there and plus 24 volt there. Well, thank you, Sparrow Automates. Yes, I'm glad you like our work. And yeah, keep the recommendations coming on the CAD software, because I'll probably look at these a little later because, yeah, like I said, I need to update it. Now, man, that did not snap down. Oh, I got a wire behind it. I'm sitting here trying to jam the wire into it. That's why it wouldn't snap down. Now, one thing I'm going to quickly, well, I'm going to hopefully get this PLC mounted. I don't know what's going on here, but I am, yeah, I got some wires in the way, you know. We just keep jabbing the wires. There we go. Okay, now normally this does come with a program in it, and I'm going to download this just so we can check that that all my wiring is correct. So I'm going to go over here to Connecting Components Workbench. Oops, I should have already had that open. And let's see. That one right there. Also, while we're at it, these programs are available for download. Oops, I'm running version 12. If we go, let's see, there's another good link for you. So we go sample programs. Yeah, all of our trainer PLC programs are available right here at the sample programs. And that's going to take you right here. And these are the standard programs that are in all our PLC trainers. So you can always take them and look around and play with them and maybe learn a little something. But for this one, we are going to download this program into this PLC. With having to use different types when referring to syncing and sourcing when talking to someone over the phone without a diagram, we call it by the long name, like sourcing, AB, syncing, and vice versa. Yeah, you know, those terms are really confusing. I'm not 100% sure why we haven't come up with something a little easier or some way to clean this up a little bit. All right, looks like we're getting booted here. Or what are we waiting on? Probably should have looked to see if I even have this configured right. Let's see what PLCs are out there. Yeah, it's 14, so there it is. It's ready to go. Well, what's it waiting on? There it goes. Now I'm going to get a warning on this, and actually, yeah, I'm getting ready to put a video out about this warning, but the default PLC program IP address is 192.168.110, and I have this set for 14 right now because actually I went ahead and I set up a Controllogix just in case some questions came up or somebody said I don't think it works that way. I already have all those programs downloaded to a trainer back here that is a Controllogix, and it's set to 10, so we're going to get a warning here in a second. Or maybe not. Nope. Yeah, see, this is the warning. You have to be really careful that you don't accidentally click yes, because you're thinking, yeah, we want to go to run mode. But this warns you that my Ethernet settings are different. And so we're going to click the no button here because I want to leave them the same. And we'll wait a second and it'll be ready to go to run mode. And while we're waiting on this, oh, actually we don't even need to wait, but make sure you've hit that subscribe button and like this video because, yeah, we're hoping to do some more of these. And, yeah, that way you get our notifications on them. But, all right, the way this program works is if it's wired correctly, when we hit the green button, the green light will come on. when we hit the yellow button, the yellow light will come on. When we hit the red button, the red light will come on. When we hit the blue button, the blue light will come on. And then if we switch one, it'll sequence through them. I didn't even think about it. This is another version of a sequencer, but I don't want to use this one. So because we're gonna do them from the ground up. But okay, so that tells us that all our wiring is good, and we're ready to start writing some programs. So we're gonna start. Well, I'm gonna disconnect here, and we're gonna create a new program. And let's go back to our Studio 5000, and our first one is a counter type. So this is the program we're going to be making. And so I am going to just call this one, let's just call it sequence counter. And if we go to controllers, and in this case we have a Micro820, and it's a 2080 LC20 20 QBB, and we're going to select it and add to project. All right, while that's loading up, Jack is asking, is it possible to use one HMI to communicate with 3 PLCs at the same time? My idea is for creating 3 screens on an HMI. Each screen can control one. Absolutely, that's possible, and that's not that uncommon. A lot of times you may have a larger semi-assembly line, or maybe it is assembly line, that really the machines they're individual machines, but then they've been integrated to maybe pass parts back and forth or something. Then in those cases, you could easily have a networked line of 2 or 3, maybe even 10 PLCs, and they all go to one HMI for the operator. So yeah, that's really common, and yeah, that would work just fine. All right. So in our program, the first thing that we desperately need to always remember to do is to set up that Ethernet configuration. And if you're using one of our standard trainers, then it's going to be 192.168.110 with a subnet of 255.255.255.0. Now in the case of mine, since I have that one back there set up, the Compactlogix for 10, mine I'm going to set it at 14. And then we're going to create a program. So we're going to add a new ladder diagram. And, and actually we're going to create 2 programs because we should segment ours a little bit, because that's something we definitely noticed in my first program, is that I had 300 rungs in one single routine. So I am going to rename this one to outputs, and I'm going to rename this one to sequence. Now this is something that is different between Studio 5000 and the Connected Components Workbench, is in this case all programs are executed in the order that they're listed. So let's say we wanted sequence to execute first, then we would just drag it up here, and now it's going to execute sequence, and then it's going to execute outputs, and then it's going to start over. Whereas in Studio 5000 we have a main routine, and if we right click our main program and go to properties, we can see our main routine is the main routine. So it only executes this routine right here, and then we can use the JSRs or other means to go to the other ones. So in this case, I've done something that really you should not typically do, but I did this so that if we needed these samples, we could run them quickly, is I have, well, here's my outputs. And then I have the different methods of sequencing where we can just switch them on and off as needed. But in this case, they are actually all executed. And if we wanted subroutines, we'd actually use user-defined functions. And I guess I could do it that way, but no, let's stick fairly basic here. So in this case, we're going to be using a counter to run our sequencers. So we're going to open that up. Well, hey, Christian from Bolivia. Oop, didn't open. Okay, and in this case, we're going to use just a really basic counter. So first I'm going to drag down an instruction block. And then if we just start typing CT, you're going to see the counters that come up. You have a count up counter, a count down counter, then we have the up down counter. And we're going to use the CTU up counter. And I am actually, let's leave this exactly as it is. And then we're going to need some conditions to make it count. So I'm going to bring down a rung. And our first condition was that button 3 would make it index if it was in step 1, or in this case step 0. So we're going to go to our IO tab, and then we're going to, I wish somebody explained to me. I'm not sure why the outputs come before the inputs, but I always almost do that. And actually it's input 4. So input 4 is connected to button 1. In fact, let's go ahead and label these while we're here. So this is our green button. This is our yellow button. Red button, and finally our blue button. Okay, so we're going to use the green button here. Now we only want, now one thing we got to think about is what is the first step of a counter. Counters do start at step or accumulated value of 0. So we will have a step 0. There's nothing wrong with that. But we only want this button to work when we're in step 0. So we're going to bring another instruction block down in front of it. And we're going to be looking for an equal statement. Now, we've talked about it in a few videos because if you're in Studio 5000, you're going to want to type EQU and you're going to get nothing. And that's because right now I am in the standard, they call it the standard theme, we'll look in a second. But mainly, in this case, we've got to hunt and find the equal sign. Or I guess, can you hit equals? Yeah, we could hit the equals symbol and it would bring these up. Now, if you're more used to Studio 5000, yes, the default theme up here, we're going to switch to the Logix theme. And then we'll go back in. And now if we double click on this, we can type EQU, which is what we're used to seeing in Studio 5000. And we can bring that in. All right, so now, what do we need to put here? Well, this is one of the differences in Connected Components Workbench is we don't really have a .acc file per se. We have, you assign it things. So right here, what I'm going to put is, I'm going to make this sequence number. So I'm going to double click here. And we're going to create a global variable called sequence. Let's see, am I going to create a new program each time? Yeah, we will. So we're just going to call this sequence number. And it will be a dent. And so this is now going to be the accumulated value of this counter. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to copy that. Let me right click that and copy. That way you can see what I did. And we're going to paste it right here. And I'm going to say if the sequence number is 0, and why is that not showing up as green button? Oh, that's right, because I just installed version 13. And can somebody in chat tell me really quickly, where is that you make descriptions show up? Is it over here? I know it's somewhere. Is it label? That doesn't feel right. Let's try it anyway. That is not it. My descriptions aren't showing up, and there is a button that I have to change somewhere. Because mainly, yeah, I need to see that this is the green button. See, I can mouse over it and I can see the comment. And I don't know why they do this by default. Hey, is this one it? There you go. Okay, so where am I actually? Let's make sure we understand how to do that. This is what it is right now, if I mouse over this, I can see that I have the green button, but I can't just browse it. I really, there are some quirks about Connected Components Workbench, and I really don't know why they did them. But if I right click anywhere but an instruction, and I go to Properties, oops, no, where do I need to right click? I was just there. There it goes. And I go down here to variable information. See, right now it's name and alias. is it name and wiring? Man, I still can't figure it out. All right, somebody's going to have to help me. I'm not remembering how to get my stuff viewing really fast. Or do I have to close it after I do that? It feels like this is not exactly it. Well, here. What do they call this? Comment. Somewhere you can put the comments on. Because I have it wait, in Studio 5, in my other version of Studio 5000, I have that already set up. Name and wiring. Name and alias. View. Well, that's going to make it difficult. Display comment. No, it's on true. Why is it not showing it then? Throw that on. Close it and open it back up. Well, in the theme, I usually have it. Even in the Logix theme, I usually show the comments. Now, I just installed version 13 though. No, the theme doesn't seem to do it. All right, now. This usually, where is it? Because I do know by default it doesn't show it, which was kind of always strange. Display, wrong settings. Well, let me go ahead and, I have Studio 5. We can switch gears pretty fast on this. I have Connected Components Workbench also on the base computer. Let me just look it up. Yeah, I'm not remembering. It's probably under options. Ladder diagram. All right, well, this is the same stuff you can get to over there. Name and alias, name and wiring. Where are the comments? Well, we're just going to have to press on here in a second. Hold on just a second. Let me check it over here. What I'm doing, I'll get it up here where you can see. So we're running an image here that I just installed version 13 on. So let me switch it over, and this is my base computer, which I use usually to figure out if there are problems. But I thought, let's see what it looks like here. Oh, we got some smart guys in chat. Nobody knows how to do this? Pretty. I know it's something simple. I just can't think of what it is, apparently. Let's see. Let's just bring something down. And we go to a global tag. You know, wait a second. I usually put the info right here. I've got it in the wrong spot. It's the hate. I usually put like green button here. I think did I put it over there? Oh, it did. No, here. So this is a little bit different. Connected Components Workbench. I really don't know, what comments exactly are for. Because aliases are more of your comments or descriptions. There we go. Now we have a green button. So let me go back and take these out. And move these over here. Yeah. Well, Rod, what were you so slow on that for? You're right. I usually do too. I just, when I was sitting here talking, I sat there and put them in the comment column. All right, and while we're here, these are our lights. So this will be light 1. What's cool is in an alias situation, you can have spaces or anything in connecting components. So they really do work just like, well, actually they're a good mix. This is a good, let me put these in. Light 2, light 3, light 4. All right, and mainly here we want the green button. What's cool about this is, let's just copy and paste that real quick, is I can type in _IO, and I could go through all that and find that. But in this case, I can type yellow light. Yellow button. And there it is. So the alias is, in this case, it is kind of an alias because you can type them in, whereas descriptions in Studio 5000, you can't. Let's see, right, there's a visual. There is a tag visual when you right-click the tag. Not sure what that means, Rod, but okay, this gets us back going. Sorry for that delay, but all right. So in this case, if our sequence number is 0 and we press the green button, then we're going to count up our counter. So that takes care of getting us through the first step. And now what we're going to do is, we're going to put a branch in the right place. And then we're going to copy, oh, that's right. Drag that there, drag this there. And then we're going to copy this equals down here. And actually we can just copy this green button down here as well. Drag it over. And in this case, now if we're in sequence number 1, and we press the yellow button, then we want it to count. That's what I said, right? Let's go back to our Studio 5000. Let me make sure yeah, counter, yellow button. Okay, now in this case, the red button, we want to have to hold it for 1 second before it goes on. I don't know, I just thought it would be nice to add a little something to it. So we're going to add another branch. And then we'll copy the equals. And in this case, whoops, yellow. Got some craziness going on there. What did I do? Probably my copy and pasting. It looks fine. Well, here I go doing a live stream right after I update to version 13. I guess I got a little bit of tweaking to do. But okay, that is the yellow button. But all right, so in this case though, we want a timer here. Now, here's where I actually, in this case, I would probably put it on an additional rung. So if our sequence equals 2, right click on the object, go to properties. Oh, that's right, and I was messing around with all this stuff and I ended up changing a bunch of stuff, didn't I? Thank you. All right, I understand what you're saying now, Rod, and thank you, David. Thank you for getting me straight there. Okay, so in this case, if we're on sequence number 2 and we have the red button, same thing there. Wait, there is a global place to do this. Where is it? I can click in the right spot. There we go. We want that to be name and alias. And now I think just every time, after this now, it'll show name and alias each time. All right, so we got that, and now we want a timer. So we are just going to use a TON. Now this is if you're in the Logix theme, you can type TON. And in this case, this is kind of one of the cool things about Connected Components Workbench is the way they use timers. Is one, I could put a variable in here, or I can simply put T $1S. And that's going to be a 1 second timer. I mean, I could also put in T 1000 ms. And that would be the exact same 1 second timer. So I really do like the way they do the timers. And then up here, we're going to look for the Q bit in this case. The Q bit is very similar to the done bit. So TON, Q bit. Now here's something I see, I was waiting for the right spot, is I see this done often. As first I can add a description to this. So that's one thing I could do, is I could make this a little more descriptive, because right now, what is TON_1.Q? It's not really clear. Well, a lot of people don't know is it defaults to these names, but you can change them. So if I double click right here, right there is the instance name. So I can put red button delay. Okay. And now it's one thing I don't like is it doesn't automatically change it here. Now we've got to go and type red button delay. Whoops, didn't get it right. Red button delay dot Q. But this is much clearer now. Why do I have a triangle there? Oh, well, I'm glad you did learn that, Rod. Yeah. Where am I? Why do I have a triangle here? Does anybody know? T, what am I missing? T number sign, 1S. That sure looks right. Let me just hit the build button on this. Why does that? Maybe I'm missing something. Oh no, everything's fine. I'm not sure why it's showing a triangle here. Referring to undefined variable. Well, no. Yeah, it is an undefined variable because we just wrote that out. So, okay, maybe they'll come back to Honest. I'm not sure. Now, here's one thing I would do here is, while this will work functionally fine, I actually probably would add this red button right here. Just for clarity. I don't know. I could go either way on that. This does nothing, has zero functionality because obviously the red button needs to be true for this timer to start. But if I was looking at it troubleshooting and I'm looking for an input, it might make it a little clearer that the red button's what I'm waiting on instead of having to chase this down. But okay, so that takes care of that one. And then finally we're going to have a blue one. So we're going to add another branch. Whoops, come on now. Why can I not? There we go. Below. And we're going to copy the equals one more time. And this time we're going to be looking for 3. And actually, yeah, we are going to do it this way. And this time we'll look for the blue button. All right, so that takes care of that. And now what we need to do, so that is going to index through these. In fact, yeah, let's go ahead and finish our outputs and then talk about how this works. So basically, if we're in sequence 0, I want the green light to be on. 1, I want the yellow light to be on. 2, I want the red light to be on. I think I got one of those off. Green, yellow, red, and blue. So those are what we'll want. So I'm going to go down here, this output one. And we're going to, if the sequence number equals 0, we're going to output light number 1. All right, we should be able to just copy and paste that. And so in this case, if it's number 1, then we're going to go to light 2. And if we go to number 2, light 3, and finally 3, and number 4. Okay, now this is partially going to work, but let's go ahead and download this and talk about exactly what's going on here. While we're downloading, if you could take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel button, Probably need to stop and drink some water on this. And subscribe to our channel, then it really helps us out a lot. All right, so Rod, what do you think about it on AB compared to non-AB on CodeSys? Do you think they're similar enough? I hear opinions both ways on that. You know, there is not a free version of Studio 5000 Emulate. So actually, I would recommend the Connected Components Workbench that we're using right now because it does have a free emulator right here. So as soon as this gets done downloading, I can quickly show. No, one thing I've noticed about the emulator is, well, let me change back to run mode. One thing I've noticed about this emulator is it doesn't play well with Studio 5000 or something, and I'm not sure what. But right there's the emulate button, and here is kind of a miniature Micro820 PLC. So you can hit the power on button, and I'm going to get an error on this. And this is because I am online with Studio 5000, and I've noticed that some issue I get. But yeah, if I close Studio 5000, the emulator would work, and you can download to it, and yeah, we could sit here and just hit these to simulate inputs. So that would be my recommendation in place of Studio 5000 Emulate. But all right, so we have a green light on now. So if this is right, when I press the green light, we should get the yellow light on. And okay, looks like we have a learning opportunity because it does not work. So let's go into our program and figure out what is going on. And let's see, sequence, oops, well, let's get back over here. All right, all that looks right. Come over here, and we press the green light. It's true. So I did not put in a preset right here, and it's not gonna, so yeah, let me just go offline. And I'm not going to worry about figuring out the exact step. In fact, I'm just going to put 100 in here. Oh, or that's fine. I'll put 1,000 in there. That's because we're going to reset it externally. In fact, that's why I wanted to download this so we could see, you know, some options on that. So download this again. No, it was in run mode. Oh, it's not now, but was it? Are you right? Was I not in run mode there? No, I was in run mode. But no, the issue was the set point was 0. Pretty sure. Well, let's find out here. So we pop over here, and I hit the green button. All right, now the yellow button illuminates, or the yellow light illuminates. So now, if I hit the yellow one, the red should illuminate. Now, the red button, if I hit it, is not going to illuminate. So we can sit here and hit this, and it's not going to happen because we have that timer on there. So I hit it for 1 second, and we're going to get the green. Now, when I hit the green button, you're going to see the green light go out. And that's the next thing we need to work on, is now, if we go over to our program, we are in sequence number 4. Well, we only had steps 0 through 3. So 4 is not an actual sequence number. So at this point, if you were actually on a machine, you could either cycle stop it so that maybe an operator has to walk back up and do it again. Or in my case, I'm going to make it start all over. So I'm going to go offline here. And I am going to add another rung. And then we are going to put this equal statement. So I'm just going to right click, copy it. And I'm going to paste it here in rung 3. And if it equals 4, actually, you know, in here, while I don't believe there's any way it could happen, this shouldn't be an equal statement. This should be a greater than or equal, so a GEQ. Now, it should never be able to get above it, but that's a good thing to do, I think. So I can't think of why you wouldn't want to do that right now. And so when it is, we are going to reset that counter. Now, resets work differently in Connected Components Workbench. If we were in Studio 5000, then we could simply use an RES instruction right here and reset our counter. But in Connected Components Workbench, the reset is actually part of the base instruction. So in this case, we're going to need a tag here for this. So I'm going to call this reset sequence. Oops, sorry, I got to create that. And now I can take that same reset sequence, copy it, and then right here we're going to use an output energize to that reset sequence. And we can take this out. And so let's download that. All right, so now it's showing a green light, and I press the green button, we go to a yellow light, I press the yellow button, we go to a red light, I press the red button, whoops, I gotta press it for 1 second now, so I press and hold that, we get a blue light, and then finally, when I press the green button now, it's gonna go back to green, and we can sit here and do this all we want. All right. And so now, let's look at this in the program, make sure we understand exactly what's going on. So we have a counter here, and these are the conditions that we will count up with. So right now, sequence number has to equal 0. So in this case, sequence number is equal to 0, and we can see that because it's red on the right side of it. This case it would need to be 1. This case it would need to be, whoops, get off, 2, and 3. So these 3 lower branches are all false. This is the only true branch we have, so we press the green button, and you never actually see it go true there, do you? You saw that really this turned red, and all of a sudden this was blue. Well, that's because the scan cycle for that one split, maybe 2-3 millisecond scan, I'm not even sure what the scanning time of this is, that was true. But our PC is not going to update that fast. So now we're in step 1. So we can see that by the red here, and it's going to look for the yellow to be true. So this sequence number here is the same as this sequence number here, 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 and here. They're all the same tag. So I press the yellow button, and that shifts it down to here. Now here, if I hit the, well, if I can do it quick enough, yeah, so you can see the red button indicating, but since I'm not holding it for a full second, it's never going to go through because it's waiting on that delay. So we're going to hold that, and now it shifts to the next one and is looking for the blue, and we go back to the beginning. And this is pretty much what we saw in my first RsLogix 500 program, is me sequencing this way. But now let's talk about a variable of this that we can do, because what my issue with this is, and really I saw it in that program, but I couldn't come up with exactly how to fix it quickly during the last live stream, is this is almost readable here. I mean, you can see even here, we got to slightly scroll down. But what if we had 20 sequences here? Can you imagine the scrolling And you know, as you're scrolling, you're navigating, it can get to be a really big headache. Let me catch up a little bit on the chat. You know, I don't have a WhatsApp group. I'm surprised there isn't one out there, but yeah, no, we don't have that. Let's see, Rod, on the emulate issue, I have used the HMI to simulate a piece of hardware with control sensors. Yeah, I actually need to do a video on that because that's a really neat feature. Let's see, yeah, it does require a little bit, but yeah, I should put that on there because you can do some pretty neat things there as far as learning. Now, still, in the end, I want to grab a hold of some wires that just, you know, I think you learn a lot faster. But hey, if you don't have any, or you need to simulate something, you know, when you're on an airplane or somewhere else, that's a great alternative. Well, not the HMI, but yeah, the simulator, it does have some advantages. But okay, on this can get to scrolling a whole lot if it grew much. Also, I don't like that this timer is stuck down here. And I did this one first exactly like this because this is similar to what I see and it's similar to what I did in my first one. But something that a lot of people don't know you can do, and I hope this works in connected components because I did not actually test it yet, is you can have multiple counters to the same instruction. Now this should work with connecting components. I can't see why it wouldn't. But if we look at our second Studio 5000 example, I've done this. And so here are the branches, exactly the same as we have in connected components in one counter. But I can break this up. See, this is sequence counter. This is sequence counter. Actually, counters plural because this is a different one. Sequence counters plural, sequence counters plural, sequence counter plural. So I have 3 count up counters going to the same tag. And I think this makes it easier to read if you're troubleshooting. Because really, okay, sequence step 0, 1, 2, and most importantly, I can combine this timer now into this really nicely so that when I'm on step 2 and I'm trying to figure out what is wrong, it's going to be really clear that either it's waiting on this or it's waiting on this. I'm not going to have to scroll or search or anything like that to go find it. So we're just going to modify our connected components workbench program now to be like that. And this shouldn't be difficult. We should be able to, well, we got some obstacles here. Is first, when we did the TON, you notice I renamed this. Well, I haven't done this one yet. And here's where, yeah, it's going to become much more important, is I can double click here now. Oh, I got to go offline. Yeah, and I could do run mode edits, but I know a lot of you are using the free version, so that's not an option. So I'm just going to go offline to do all my edits that way. But if I double click on this, and then the instance down here, I can name this my sequence counter. And, man, this does work. I'm not sure why we're getting this occasionally, but it works fine. This is version 13, and yeah, this is my first video with version 13, so there may be a few things that I'm not aware of on it. All right, but so now our counter is called sequence counter. Now I'm going to highlight this rung, I'm going to right click it, and I am going to copy this rung, and I'm going to right click, and I'm going to paste once, paste twice, and we're going to paste a third time, giving us 4 copies of that same rung. And even now, it's really difficult to figure out where you're at because this is slightly large for this, with the font size and everything I'm using. That bottom one's getting truncated. But okay, notice when you create those like that, oh man, why did somebody tell me I spelled counter wrong? Oh, you guys got to keep an eye on me. We're going to fix that. We're going to go down here to the first one, which is actually at the bottom now. And we're going to rename it to sequence counter. But now I can go up to this next one. See, even as I scroll, it's a little difficult to find it. And I'm going to make that instance the exact same. I'm going to make this one counter. And then I'm going to change this instance to counter. And finally this one to counter. So this is going to make them all address the exact same thing. And now what I'm going to do is, okay, this first one is going to be for my green button, or sequence number 0 green button. So I'm going to highlight here, and I'm going to delete that. Delete. Oops, Control Z. Did something wrong there. Highlight there and hit the delete. Highlight there and hit the delete. So that now is sequence 1, or sequence 0. So now on the next rung, I'm going to delete this one. And then I'll highlight number 2, delete, number 3, delete. And then this one, it's going to be number 2, delete, delete, delete. And then on this one, it will be the final one. So delete, delete, delete. All right. Now, we have this TON, which I didn't like, stranded down here anyway. So I'm going to copy it now. I'll just right-click, make sure I right-click that way. Y'all see exactly what I do. And I'm going to go up here to sequence number 2, and here's where we're looking at that. I'm going to put a branch in here. I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to drag this in, and I'm going to put that TON right here. And I just think that's going to make it read so much better and make it where we can, I think it will make our troubleshooting a lot better. So now we can delete this. And if I've done all this right, this should work exactly the same way. So sequence 0, green button, counts. Sequence 1, yellow button, counts. Sequence 2, red button, after a certain amount of time, counts. And finally the blue button counts in sequence 3. And then sequence 4, greater than or equal to, should reset the sequence. Here's where it's always scary doing a live stream and doing this without any testing, is I feel this should work, so let's give it a shot and find out. Well, look at there, unable to download due to build errors. So, red button, delay queue, undeclared identifier. Oh, okay. Well, there you go again. When it copied and pasted, and maybe does anybody know, is there a way to turn this off? Because this does get annoying. It says you're copying and pasting this. It's always wanting to increment, which I guess they're doing so you don't end up with a bunch of duplicates. But it's a real headache. So hit the build button. Let's make sure there's no issues now. And we look good, so we're going to download that. Michael's all our statistics still looking good over there? Well, yeah, I do need to, while we're waiting on this to download, I do need to give thanks to Michael, my son. He actually makes all this live stream stuff work, and that's all I can call it is the live stream stuff because he's just a genius at it. So thank you, Michael, for doing that. And let's see, we're going to switch back to run here. And David, am I a master electrician? So interestingly, yes, I am. I'm a master electrician that has actually never used my license, though. We're a UL 508A panel builder. So I did end up becoming a master electrician, but I have never actually, I farm out all of really the power end of our control panels typically. Because, typically, well, one, I'm just not a great conduit bender. I mean, just put it out there. Everybody's got things they're good at. Conduit bending is not mine. Okay, so let's see how this works. It should work exactly the same. So I press the green button, yellow light comes on. I press the yellow button, the red light comes on. Now I can sit there and kind of peck on this and nothing happens. But I press and hold that, and you're ever going to get a blue light. And we press it again, and we're going to do that again now because I didn't realize it was not on full screen. But yeah, green button shifts it to the yellow. Yellow button shifts it to the red. That doesn't work. We've got to have that for 1 second. Goes to green, goes to blue, whatever that color is. And then we hit it again and it goes to the green. So this code right here does exactly the same as our previous code. But I think this is much easier to troubleshoot later on. Man, and here's where I was going to create a new program every time. And this is why, and I will do that from now on, is I would love to go back and look. Well, I did create all the Studio 5000 programs. So we can see it here is, if we look at this one, this is the way it was written. But if we had 20 different conditions or 20 steps, it would get really to be a pain scrolling this and coming back up and figuring this counter out. Whereas really breaking this up into the individual ones, it definitely makes it easier. All right, Alex asked an excellent question, and I was sitting here thinking, I was like, I did not address the elephant in the room early on in this stream. Is what is your opinion on the SQI and SQO instructions in Studio 5000 for sequencing? Well, Alex, if you have been in our last live stream, I actually went through that one, and I had a perfectly written SQI and SQO instruction, and 20 years later, I couldn't even figure out how to follow it. I mean, it is the most powerful set of instructions for programming machine steps. It might be the worst nightmare scenario for troubleshooting machine steps. Well, no, I mean, a horribly written program would definitely be worse. But here is one. Let me make sure I'm on the right one. Let's see. Make sure yeah, so my first Studio 5000 program talks about that. So opinion, or let's just put SQI and SQO instruction problems. There you go. Check that one out sometime. It'll give you my opinion on it. But no, it has tremendous flexibility. And yeah, and actually I should address that a little bit more. Is I see mainly mainly students. Instructors come to me too, but students come to me and they're like, hey, I need to figure out how to program this with an SQI and an SQO. And I go through and I told them, no, this is not how you do this. You don't want to do it. Here's how you want to do it. And he's like, well, this is my homework assignment. And that's the biggest place I see the SQI and SQO used. It's chapter 18 of the PLC programming book had the SQI and SQO instruction, and the instructors try to teach it. And man, I mean, instructors do contact me. It's just like, I can't figure this out. And usually I can talk them out and talk them off the ledge and be like, you don't want to do this. Teach the students this way. But yeah, I overall, I don't like them. And as I went through there and talked about, is mainly that is not universal. So it won't work in connecting components. It won't work in an Automation Direct. It won't work in a Siemens. It won't work in a Mitsubishi. Really, the sequencing methods we're going through today, I can't imagine them not working in almost every PLC out there. And that's why I think mainly I chose these particular ones. But all right, let's go on to the next one. And we will create a new program for this one. We'll do some copy and paste and hopefully to smooth this up a little bit. But, well, no, probably not. But okay, let's go offline with this one. And we're going to create a new Connected Components Workbench. And while we're waiting on this to load up, because it is a little bit slow to load, yeah, please take a moment to hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Also, yeah, we do a newsletter, at least one newsletter a week. Most of them are letting you know what the latest and greatest instructions that we have out there are. But if you go to any of TW Controls, any of its pages, and just scroll all the way to the bottom, you're going to see where you can subscribe to our newsletter. Also, occasionally have a promotional coupon like we're having in chat today, which if you didn't know it, there is, everybody who's participating in chat is put in the running for a 10% off coupon at TW Controls or PLC Tools. Okay, why are we still loading up? What did I do? That seems like a long time. Oh, wait. Get in a row. Oh, there we go. We're all loaded up. We're ready to go. All right, so again, we're going to create a new program. And this one is going to be sequence seal in. And we're going to go to Controllers, Micro820, and we're going to select the 2080 LC20 20QBB. And we're going to add it to our project. Let's see, William asks, have you done anything with the PowerFlex 755 with an encoder and motion commands? No, I haven't. And this probably comes down to opportunity. I don't work with a lot of PowerFlex 700s in general. Most of mine, I mean, we work with a ton of the PowerFlex 525s. We go through them like they're candy. But I don't get into a lot of PowerFlex 700 applications. So, no, I doubt that'll happen. Now, we have done some motion control on these, and we're going to do a few more because we can do some limited motion, nothing like the 700. But probably will probably do some more with those. But, yeah, you know, a lot of our videos, you know, as we've talked about many times, there's no real revenue source from our videos. So, it's more of we have a control panel that's being built and happens to have the components. That's how most of these videos get made. So unless somebody has us build something with a PowerFlex 755, it probably won't happen. But all right, we're in Connected Components Workbench. And all right, now I started the last one a little different because we were in the default theme here. And I want to make sure we didn't get lost there. This is how the default theme works. And if we switch over to the Logix theme, it kind of lays out more like Studio 5000 does. And so in this case, our main task is where we're actually going to create our programs. So we're going to right-click Main Task, and we're going to create a new ladder diagram program. And let's go ahead and rename that. And we'll just call this our outputs. Although really we probably could cram that. No, you should have probably some organization. So yeah, we're going to do that. And we're going to add another one. And this one we're going to rename to our sequence. And actually, same deal as last time. You can drag these around. Oops, I can drag program 1 up. And there you go. Now it's above. I never played with this. Can I rename program? Oh, yeah, look at there. So I could also rename this to sequence. I don't know why I would need to. Also, it kind of makes it look like you could add multiple routines here, but you can't. If I added another, oh my goodness, that has changed. Oh, wow. Well, I believe that's new for version 13. I'm not sure here. But I tell you what, we're if we're not all fried later, we may play with that. Let's stick with the way that this one was done, which means we had program 1, program 2. I believe that's a new feature for version 13. I used to, or maybe yeah. Wow. So there you go. I'm going to put that on the list to make videos on is how that works. And it may be that it does nothing different, but okay, let's not get too far off. In this one, we're going to be doing the seal in. And of all of them, this is my least favorite probably. Actually, this is my least favorite between this and the Latch Unlatch. Now, these work, so I can't put them completely down, but I would not do the seal in or the Latch Unlatch in this case. And we'll talk more about the reasons a little later in it. But let's just get this in there first. So in this case, we have a sequence seal in, and we're kind of working down through here, and we're sealing it in till the end. And this is kind of our basic start-stop circuit. Kevin asked, what are your thoughts on structured text? I like it because it's easy to copy code between platforms. And You know, this is actually my most common battle. Now, before I go any further with anything I'm saying, I actually love structured text. I love function blocks, and I love ladder. And the program I was going to go over before everybody asked for us to go through these from the ground up was one of my programs I recently wrote in Connected Components that used all of them. Now, my argument against what you just said about structured text is, yeah, it's easy to copy and paste, but in the end, I am an old school, I'm an old school maintenance technician. That's what I did before I started TW Controls, is I worked maintenance. So my mind always is, how do I troubleshoot it later on? And I think that's where structured text falls down as far as working with field devices. Now, flat out, you cannot do math or anything like that any more efficient than structured text. And let's face it, a compute statement and ladder, isn't that structured text? So already there's a lot of sprinkling of structured text, but where I draw the line usually with structured text is when we're actually dealing with physical inputs and outputs. I think at that point you need to transition to something else just to make it a little easier to troubleshoot. But okay, so let's get back here. And really this isn't that much different than what we've done before. As first, let's go and, in this case it's controller variables, let's put in some description or some aliases. Oh, I'd forgotten about this. So this is a little quirky about version 13. Is if you have, because you notice I'm in the Logix theme here. I'm also in the Logix theme here, but actually I have closed it now. Okay. But it doesn't, I've noticed it doesn't automatically change this interface sometimes. But okay. Output 0 is going to be light 1. And then output 1, oops, it's going to be light 2. Then light 3. And light 4. And then down here, input number 4. I don't know why I'm not labeling those as colors up there, but that's what I did in the previous one. So in this case, it's going to be the green light, and then the yellow light, red light, and the blue light. It's pretty much the exact same thing as we did last time. And then we are going to need to create a tag. Whoops. Should have done that while I was over there. Let's go back over here. We're going to create a tag down here, and this is going to be our sequence. And it is going to be, oops, why isn't I letting, oh yeah. That's one thing I stumped in another live stream that we were doing is you cannot name a tag the same thing as a routine is named, which kind of can throw you because there shouldn't be any reason for that, but okay. Sequence seal in, that's what we'll call it. And this will be a dent. And now we'll go, and in this case, we're going to be doing it just like we did here. So first we're going to be looking for the sequence seal in not to be done. Actually, I should have done that a little different. Oh no, I did this one. Here's, yeah, let's just go through it. So over here, we're going to use a reverse contact or an examinative open. And we're going to go and find sequence seal in. Now, what a lot of people don't know is at the end of this, I can just put .0, and that's going to look at bit 0 of the sequence seal in. And then I'm going to look for this green button. So green, did I really put light on that? That is input 4, okay. I'm sitting here just talking away, and why didn't somebody correct me again? Yeah, guys, you can correct me. I won't get offended. These are all buttons. These aren't lights. Button. 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 And button. Okay, the green button is what we need, and that's right, and it doesn't immediately update. I've noticed that. We just go off of it, go back on. I think you can also close the tab and open it back up. But green button, and now we're going to put an output energize here. And actually, we can just escape out of this because we're going to copy this. And we're going to put it right there. And now what we're going to do is we're going to put a branch around this. Now, this may look confusing right now, but we're going to go through it when it's done and explain exactly how it works. All right, does that look pretty much the same as that? Yes, it does. So we got that one done. All right, now we're going to copy and paste this down. And, oops, actually I shouldn't have done that but once because we had to make a modification to this first one. Is now, it's going to be that. And then CLN will be 1. Okay, now we can do some copy and pasting. Well, that's got to be 1. V. Okay, so CLN 1. Now this is, the second one is the yellow button. And then this one is going to be the red button. And this one will be the blue button. And so this one was 0 and 1. This one's going to be 1 and 2. This one is going to be 3. Oops. This one's going to be 2 and 3. And then over here, yeah, same deal. 0, 1, 2, and 3. Actually, no, I did something wrong there. I can tell I did something wrong. The seal, no. Oh, except for I forgot that. The seal in piece here. All those are 3. Okay, so that takes care of that, and then we're going to have some outputs here. And so for the first one, sequence CLN at 0, it's going to turn on output 0. One. So 0 and not 1, and then 1 and not 2, and then 2 and not 3. All right, so first let's just download this program so we can see how it works. Sorry about that. I had to stop for a water break. Didn't realize I wasn't downloading. Okay, well, we're in run mode and our light is not lighting up, so I have something wrong. So let's go in here and figure out what's going on. All right, what do I got going on? We're in run mode. Oh, well, okay, well. And then again, it's going to do exactly what you say, but I sat there and copied and pasted. This is output 0, output 0, output 0, and output 0. So yeah, that's not going to work. So let me go offline and fix that. Hey, and again, you guys ought to catch me on these things because yeah, one, we are having a promotion in the chat, which is probably a good time to mention that, is that if you participate in the chat, you are in a drawing to get 10% off a PLC trainer or one of the PLC tools, simulators, and testers. And yeah, it'd be really helpful because yeah, we just sat here and stared at a machine that wasn't working. So y'all could have pointed that out. It would have saved us a little time. Okay, now we have a green light. Now this should work exactly the same. So I press the green button, the yellow light comes on. I press the yellow button, the red light comes on. I press the red button. Ooh, I didn't put the timer in there. So we got to fix that because immediately when I press the red button, it goes to the blue, and I press the blue and it goes back to the green. So let's go ahead and put the timer in and just, yeah, I don't want to shortcut this one too much. Now, I got to tell you already, and you notice I didn't spend a lot of time on the ceiling because after thinking about this, this is one that was brought up in the last live stream as an option, and I don't think this is a good option. But let's go through it and give it a fair shot. Is right here, I forgot to put in the TON timer. So we'll drag that output energize, and then we'll bring down a TON. Well, Mustang, you know, hey, you know something? We learn from our mistakes, though. So I get excited about mistakes. I call them learning opportunities. I don't want to make too many that are just like, all right, you're wasting a lot of time now, though. So yeah, feel free to reach out and be like, hey, you forgot this. So let's see. We want a 1 second timer there. And then we're going to bring this down. And that will be TON. Okay, that should take care of that. So let's download this. Oh, well, okay, you didn't even see what I did there, but I added a timer. I wish somebody, again, I get some Michael just brought me some caffeine because, yeah, I'm slowing down a little bit. So he's like, yeah, you need to put a little pep in your step. So, yeah, you didn't even see what I was doing there, but let me just show you, since you didn't see it, oops, it's getting back in there. is mainly I added this timer right here. So and this is the same as all the others we've had. Mainly this red button we want to be pressed for 1 second before we move on to the next step. So I'm going to download this program. Well, it seems to be taking a really long time to download. Well, while we're waiting on that, what all projects is everybody in on right now? Has anybody got any fun projects? I'm always looking to see what everybody's doing. It's always, it's just fun hearing about different things. Sometimes you get in your own, your kind of little narrow niche and you don't, get to see other things that are going on. All right, we failed to connect here. Let's go ahead and put this on. Let's see. Failed to connect, which seems really weird because we were just connected. So I guess this is one situation where we just try it again. It sure acts like it's not doing anything. And we aren't. Oh my God. Hey. So I don't know where I did it. But we have a learning opportunity here. If you have watched any of my videos, I always tell you the one thing about connected components Workbench, and I think they could work this a little better, although there is a warning there, but it's not really clear, is when you create a new program, it enables DHCP by default. And if I go here to my controller properties, and I go to my Ethernet configuration, I just downloaded a PLC with DHCP enabled. Hey, Michael, can you get me the SIM IPE over there? It's right over there on that to your layup. So in this case, there's a couple ways you could do it. Is one, if you had a DHCP server handy, then you could do it that way. It's kind of a pain with Rockwell's boot P DHCP server. I'll be honest, I almost never get that thing to work, but so we're going to use the PLC tools SIM IPE, which is actually one of our devices, and we're going to go to prepare address, and it probably is in there, but let's see, IP address list, there it is. So that's what it was on, 192.168.114. So I'm going to select it, and then I'm going to go to assign address, and we're going to use boot P DHCP. And it is this top port. And actually, for the Micro820, you do have to cycle power. It only does DHCP for like 1 minute. So we're going to plug it in. Hey, congratulations. You just got somebody in the chat. Check it out. They just got promoted to a control system tech. Very good. Congratulations. Mustang is also studying for RsLogix 500, 5000 for future work. That is awesome. All right, now I'm going to set it to static. There you go. There's always a learning opportunity, and yeah, now everybody knows I don't make perfect videos. But we'll go through that, and now I should be able to oh no, look, I'm getting ready to do it again. I got to make sure I cancel now. I just hit the download button, but I didn't actually put that IP address in there. Actually, I'm going to do this. I'm going to ride this through. This is actually a video coming out in a week or so, but let me go ahead and show you what happened for one and how we can fix it. I'm going to download with project values, just like we've been doing. Oh boy. Laura's converting an old PLC 5 trainer to be used with a slick Micrologix and Compactlogix. Well, send a picture of it. I always like to see different trainers that are out there. But okay, when we are naturally doing downloads, the next prompt is normally, do you want to put it in run mode? Except if your Ethernet configuration settings don't match. And it says here, downloading current Ethernet settings will result in a disconnection from controller. Continue with downloading of Ethernet settings. But you know, I'm looking for the run mode prompt, and I hit yes. So I'm going to click no here. And what that's going to do is it's still downloading my program, but it's not going to apply those Ethernet settings. And now it's going to say, do you want to put it in run mode? And we do. But now let's fix our Ethernet. And it doesn't show it right now. But if we'll click, oh, actually, wait a second. And it'll show it. I think it does. Oh, we got to go back to our controller up here, double click it. And now, if we click on Ethernet, is it still loading? There it goes. Just a little slow. I'm choking up a little bit on the computer too. But the settings in the project and controller are different. Update from controller. What this is going to do is pull out whatever the PLC configuration is. So in this case, I had it for DHCP, but I'm going to click the button now. And now, let's see, we're configured and it's got it in there. And now we can download next time. Rod's got an IP Explorer. Awesome. I mean, I tell you what, and yeah, I don't like to get too salesy, but yeah, if you don't have one of these, it is absolutely a lifesaver. And yeah, can it configure? Let me get a longer cord. Hey, Michael, actually, here's one. Is one we can plug into a device. So I just unplugged the Micrologix, which remind me later, I just knocked myself offline. I'll be scratching my head and wondering why it doesn't work. And I plugged directly into a device. Then I can go to read unknown. And it's going to tell me that, one, there's its IP address. I don't know if I can get this to focus in. Usually I use a different camera for stuff like this. But this IP address is 192.168.114. It also gives its MAC address. It tells me that it's a 2080 LC20, 20QBB, and also that it's version 12, which can be really important when you're trying to figure out what, especially Studio 5000, what version you need. Now, one other neat thing you can do, though, is let's say we're just, maybe we're trying to figure out what IP address we should set our PC at, or, you know, what all is on this network, is you can actually plug it into an Ethernet switch. And I'm not sure what all is on this network. Well, most of the PLC labs shut off right now. But now if I go to read unknown, then, all right, it's discovered 5 devices, 8 devices. See, I'm reading that top line right there. Hopefully that focus is okay. So there is that Micro820 again, but now I can hit the up arrow, and it's also discovered, well, there's a second Micro820, which is actually in the control panel that you can barely see right there. This is this Compactlogix trainer. I set it back here just in case we had a specific question on it. There's the PowerFlux 525 drive right here. There's another PowerFlux 525 drive that I can't even think of where it is right now. What is that? This is the Panel View 800 right here. And there's another Panel View 800 up there. And yes, Mustang is just asking, is it compatible with other devices? Well, yeah, here's my, actually my PC desktop. So no, it's not just for Allen Bradley. It's not just for PLCs. We have people that buy them for like large-scale camera systems, you know, configuring cameras, trying to figure out what cameras are used. I mean, it can do printers. It can discover anything that, well, anything that uses any of the standards. Now, there are some things out there that are just crudely written that it doesn't work great with. But yeah, it's an outstanding device for things like that. Okay, but all right, we've gotten off on a rabbit trail. But while we're here, though, let me at least put a link down to that. Just let's see. Actually, here, just go to PLC tools. Which, yeah, I mean, guys, you're you're in the running for a 10% coupon here at PLC Tools just by participating in the chat. So make sure you participate. But all right, let's get back to where we were. All right, I unplugged. So we know that, okay, yeah, and I am knocked offline. So let me go back online here. Did I download that program? Yeah, I did, because we just updated, yeah, we updated the Ethernet settings. Let me get back on. But actually, okay, we had just added the timer. So now if I press the green button, it should go to the yellow light. If I press the yellow button, it should go to the red light. If I press the red button, it doesn't. But if I press and hold it for 1 second, it goes to the blue. And then the blue button takes it back to the green. So it does exactly the same thing. Now my problem with this is overall, what step exactly is this in? And mainly, I don't think this is very clean to troubleshoot. Now, there's some things we can do to add to troubleshooting. So, because let me give this a fair shot. One, I just like having a step number. Like all our previous ones, we have been able to look and say that we're on step 0, step 1. Well, in this case, we're on 0 but not 1, or are we on 0 but where are we? But we can make it a little easier. Is we can add a rung right here. And I am actually just going to copy this, and we'll paste that, what, 2 times, all right, 3 times, somewhere around there. And we're going to make this number 1, and we're going to make this number 2, and we're going to make this number 3. And then, you know, honestly, I'm trying to think, does Studio 5000, Connected Components, does it have an NOP instruction? NOP. There you go, no operation. Now, if you're not familiar with a no operation, it's just that. It just does nothing. But it's going to let that rung be true. So I'm going to download this. So awkward silence every time we download. Michael says I need to smooth out my my plug for everybody to subscribe and like and do all the things. So how can I pitch that better? Throw that in chat, because yeah, Michael has little cue cards he throws up at me. He's got this thing run really well back here. All I've got to do is manage to do some programming on CCW. He's doing the rest. But okay, we've got, oh, now what happened there? Did I really just do that? No, I didn't do it again, because we're good right here. Error or writing to, well, I don't know what just happened there. Well, first let's see. If I did that twice in a live stream, that'll be really bad, but okay, we'll get good practice of using the IPE. No, we're online. Let's just try it again, I guess. All right, well, I do not know what happened there, but we seem fine now. But mainly, okay, what I just added does help a little bit. Is right now wasn't quite online yet. It's almost there. But okay, right now we're in step, we'll call it sub-0. And the reason, honestly, I wouldn't do it exactly this way, but what I find the reason a lot of people want to do the seal-in is they don't realize you can mix bit instructions and number instructions. So I left the opportunity to, use numbers out of this. But if I press the green button, then the yellow comes on, and now we can see that, yeah, all right, seal in 1. And so what people say is that, well, all you got to do is look across something like this, and you'll know exactly what step you're in. And this is similar to what I did in my first program, but I think I left a lot of opportunities out for troubleshooting. And also, it really becomes a bear if I want to insert another instruction in the middle. And mainly because really to do it, I have to shift all these down, and I'm not going to do that. I'm going to end up adding some crazy oddball bit in here to add another step in. So overall, I don't think that the seal in still is a good way to do it. So I'm going to leave that at that. But there is a variation of it that I see, and that is the latch unlatch here, which is almost exactly the same thing. But in this case, we're going to, instead of sealing these in, we're going to do these latches. So let's just modify this. And this is a really easy modification. If we look at it compared to the seal in, right now we're output energize and seal in 0, seal in 1, seal in 2, and seal in 3. And then we have this stuff here. In this case, we're taking that seal in piece out and we're changing all those to latches. Now, maybe somebody in chat can help me with this, because I feel that I have never discovered something in CCW that makes this easy. As if I'm over here in Studio 5000, is if I want to change this to an output energize, I can double click on the symbol. Oh, come on now. Oh, I'm online. Well, that's okay. I'll go into an edit. I can double click here, and I can bring up the dialog, and either I can drop down and I can select an output energize, or I can just type something else. Let me cancel out of that before I mess up. If I'm over here in Connected Components Workbench, I just feel I've really missed something all this time, because if it's a TON and I want to change it to a TOF, I can double click right here and I can just type TOF and I could change it. But if I double click here, I can't change it. I double click one, it brings up the variable selector. And I right click here, and I've never figured out that change instruction type. Is that what it's called in Studio 5000? Let's go back to an edit, and we right click here. Thought it was right here, but I am not seeing it. I thought there was an option right here to change instruction type, but all right. Maybe that was in RS500, but mainly we can double click on it, and I've never figured that out. So in this case, the only thing I know to do to change these to latches is to bring down a latch instruction. Why does it not let me bring it down even? Get there. Block.
Yeah, just block.
Yeah, will you do that? Oh, you can't? Oh, let's see here. Do what, buddy? Hey, all right, we got somebody being a pain in the chat here.
Are you just restrict him?
All right. Oh, good grief, man.
There we go.
All right, there we go. Sorry about that, guys. Somebody's being a pain. All right. Now I got to think of where I was. Okay, but yeah, I'm trying to put a latch into this. Why can I not get a latch to even come down now? What did I do? Latch. Oh, it's not. I'm gonna have to delete this first. Control X. But yeah, so this change instruction type here, it should be there, but I don't know. Why am I there, guys? But all right. Can somebody tell me though, how do we do that? We should be able to change that somehow from an output energize to an output latch, but I've never figured out how. So delete that, Control V, and this will be number 1. And then delete that, Control V. This will be number 2. And then finally we'll delete that. Control V. And that is number 3. All right, we are going to have to do a little, oh yeah, we're going to add one more wrong, but hold on, let me get, so now we can take all of these out. Oops, I just did something wrong. Control Z. I think I deleted, what did I delete a whole wrong? All right, so if we go to our Studio 5000, the only thing this doesn't have is a way to reset. I am going to take a little bit of leeway here, is I'm not going to stay bit completely, because I mean at this point, why wouldn't you use a move to 0 if really the blue button is pressed? So we're going to change that last one from a latch to a move 0 to this whole thing here. So we go down here, right here, we're going to have a move. So I'm going to drag an instruction down, and this will be a move. And we are going to move a 0 to sequence CLN. All right, so this is a latch unlatch example, and I'm pretty sure that's right. So let's download it. I think you should be able to fix those chats now. Okay, sorry about that, guys. We're having a little bit of a troll in the chat. Okay, so we have a green light on, and we press the green button, it becomes a yellow light. We press the yellow button, becomes a red light, and still that doesn't work unless we hold it for a full second, and the blue one takes it right back. So this does exactly the same thing as the CLN, but this one I like even less. In fact, of all of them we're doing, in fact, I almost left this one out, except my goal here isn't to tell you how to do it the right way or the wrong way. These are things we're going to run into out there. But this is, if there's ever one that I would never do in a PLC program, it is this one right here. And the issue is, it's too easy to make this unorganized. That's really the statement I'll make about it. I mean, really, if we had it like this and it stayed super neat, and I mean, even the top row makes it really nice where we can see what's going on, it would be okay. But I rarely see them stay like this. They usually end up being a mess. So, but that is the 2-bit ways that you see, which is going to bring us to, really, there's a couple more here. And first, we have this bit shift left, and I was debating on skipping this one also, but it is one that several of you requested. So even now looking at it, I really don't like it. But okay, we can modify what we have for this bit shift left. This won't take too much. Let's stick with the program we're doing. And yeah, we can make this work pretty easy. So the bit shift left, what it's going to do is, if we're looking at our tag and we look at the values in it and we actually open it up, let's just open any one of them up, that one up, then it has 1s and 0s in it. The bit shift left is actually going to shift whatever is in 0 to 1, 1 to 2, 2 to 3, all the way through. And what's kind of cool about it is it can even span different or multiple numbers. So you can do this through arrays, I think up to around 2,000. Now again, I don't particularly like this one either, but let's go ahead and run through it really fast. let's go. All right, let's just take this back out. And then in the end, we're going to look. I'm going to take that one out. Oops. There. Just get some of the sealing stuff out. And actually, all right, it may have taken more than I thought to modify this one. But all right, seal in 0. This will be seal in 1. This will be seal in 2. This will be seal in 3. Okay, and instead of a latch, yeah, we're going to bring down an instruction block. And honestly, here's where I've never actually used a bit shift left in connecting components, so we may be getting ready to learn something. But one cool thing about it is you can mouse over and see exactly what you need data type wise, and also we can highlight and hit F1 and it'll take you exactly to the instructions with all the things you need to know. But all right, so in this case, our source is what do we want to shift? And actually we have this sequence seal in and it's kind of already nicely tied into it. But, and even then we could change the name of it even. Let's go to controller variables. Let's go down and find sequence seal in. Oh, why can I not rename that one? I'm offline. Let's switch. That shouldn't matter, but I did just start using version 13, so let me see. I think that's exactly the same, so it's not going to be that. Why can I not rename? Okay. Now that was weird. Why could I not rename that? Okay, so there may be an issue there. May need to look at that later. But all right, I'm going to make this sequence bit shift left. And then, yeah, I am going to switch back to the Logix theme. Yeah, they made a lot of improvements to the view this time in the Logix theme, but I have noticed a few things that I'm not sure exactly how work yet. But all right, now we're going to put sequence BSL. Now this isn't going to exactly work though, because if we mouse over, notice that the SRC or source says any elementary, which means any bit that has, I guess, binary elements. But notice that 1.1 by it, that means it's an array. And arrays can be a little confusing on how actually to specify in, actually I'm really curious now, in Connecting Components Workbench. Okay, well that's strange. Now I can rename this. I don't know what was up. But up here we have the dimension tab. And so if we want it just a single dimension, we can put 1.1. And that's going to make a one-dimensional array. It's exactly the same size. Also, I think you can do this. Let's see. Can I do 2.2? Yeah, so you could actually have the array start at 2. I don't know why you would want to do that. CCW doesn't use a lot of the zeros. Usually the things do start at 1, so we'll put it like that. And so now though, these are going to have bracket, 1 bracket. Oops, I did something wrong. There we go. It's going to have to be in this format for it to work with the bit shift left. So we're going to just add this. And we'll do that to all of these. All right, this may have been easier to rewrite, but that's all right. We're going to get through it. And again, this is not actually all of these bit manipulation ways that we've done in this, the latch, the seal in, and this one, they would not be my preference on how to do this. But let's do enough of it that we can understand how to do it. So mainly, if we're in position 0, yep, okay. Now, so this now becomes also the 1. All right, now the offset is going to be 0 because we're going to start at bit 0. And the bit address is what we're actually going to load into it. And we're going to make that 0 because we're going to shift, whoops, bit address. Well, let's just jump back over here. What is that? Maybe I don't know. Location of bit shifted into source. Location of, well, maybe you have to create a bit for that. No, we can put false. There we go, yeah. All right, and you have to remember that. So 0, that is a number. It is an integer. False in Connected Components Workbench is a 0 binary number. And then our length, we're just going to make it the full double integer length of 32. And what that's going to do is it's going to shift all the bits each time that this happens. And what's the easier way? Just to copy and paste this? Yeah, so really we're going to delete what we have. Oh no, we got that already though. Well, let's just copy and paste one time and then we'll figure it out. Control-C-V. And so this one will be, so we have step 0, we have step 1, and this will be the yellow button. And okay, in this case, everything is there. We just need to copy this, put it right there, and delete that. And then finally, we are going to do this last one different. Let me make sure how I did this in Studio 5000 is, yeah, during that condition, or if it equals 0, then we're going to move a 1 into it. And we'll talk about why in a second. But all right, so we go back here. So yeah, in this case, like, so this part is here, but we're going to be bracket 1 bracket, and we're going to move a 1 into it. But we're also going to do it whenever Mustang, where are you at? What looks like function block and ladder? Oh, while we're waiting on Mustang on that, go ahead and put that in the chat. This will be equals. Are you talking about the bit shift left? Well, and you'll find that there's not a tremendous difference between function block and ladder. I get people upset when I say that. But you know, the biggest difference is we could have reference points on function blocks that would shoot values into there, and here you have to actually put out names. That's really the big difference in those. All right, so then this will be this value if it equals 0. Now first let's see if this even works. Oh no, we got to make some more changes. We got to go over here. And you know, I should use the find for this. I've never used the find often. Is there a replace? Edit, view, device. There should be a replace, but I don't see. I was looking to see if there's an option for find and replace, but nope. So we're going to type these in. Oh, do you mean the instructions, Mustang? Do you just not familiar with like the bit shift left or? Okay, oops, why is it not like that? It should like that. Oh, oops, that's a 1, not a 0. Hopefully I didn't do that any other times. But okay, that, oh, but that needs to be that down. Delete. One. Two. And 3. That should make us a bit shift left sequencer. Let's see how that works. Michael, how are the statistics looking over there? Everything still working right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have 15 participants.
Okay. So now we're going to switch that back and let's do it. Well, first let's just see if it works. Because honestly, this is one I have not tested at all. Because I don't think I've ever used a bit shift left in Connecting Components Workbench. But all right, so we press the green button. Yellow light comes on. We press the yellow button. The red light comes on. We press the red light or red button. Nothing happens, but we hold it for 1 second. Blue light comes on. We press the blue button, and it goes back. So it does work exactly the same. And now, though, this one's going to have the same issue for me that some of the others have, is if we go and look. Now, first, this is clean. I can kind of figure some of this out. But mainly, if I am not familiar with the bit shift left instruction, and that is I won't call it a specialty instruction to Studio 5000 or RsLogix or Allen Bradley or any of that, but it is an instruction that's not necessarily in all of them. So if you're not familiar with it all, it can be a quick stumbling block. And so that's why I would not use this one. But okay. Now let's talk about some things that we would. So first we had some the basic counter. And I got to tell you, looking back, I'm not so sure that the counter is not one of the best ways to do this even today. I mean, that was my way I did it in my first PLC program, and I think it is pretty clean. I would probably go this route if I was doing a counter. Now after that, we did the seal in, we did the latch unlatch, and we did the bit shift left, which are all ones that I've ran into, that I've seen. I would not do any of them. I mean, I just don't think they're good ways of, I will call it reliably sequencing logic and ways that later people can troubleshoot. I mean, you may make it work, but I don't know that I would ever do it. Now, let's talk about ways that I probably would do it today. Is first, we have a MOV Binary. So this is what we're going to do next. And I think we'll start this one from the ground up. We'll start with a new program. Somebody remind me to put my Ethernet settings in this time. And what we're going to do is we're going to create this program and talk about how it works, because this is an important thing to understand what is going on here. So one, when we're starting off, actually this bottom rung is what starts it off, we're moving a 1 into our sequencer. Actually, what is that? Sequence move binary. Let's just, can I do that? Well, yeah. Oh yeah, we're online with this PLC. Yeah, we can do anything we want. Let's go and monitor this. And it has a value of 1 in it. But if we open it up to the binary bits, 1 means that bit 0 has a 1 in it. So next, if we go there, it's moving, oops, where am I? Wrong place. Got too many programs open now. Next, what it's going to do is actually going to move a 2 in. But let's look at what happens when we move a 2 in. So this is looking for the green button. I'm going to go reach back here, and I'm going to switch 0. Oh, hold on. I got to make that work. Let's see. This is sequence number 6. I actually have this where you can run different ones. So move down here to sequence 6. All right, now if we switch 1, or what is the green button, notice that when it moves that value of 2, it actually shifts to bit number 1 having a 1 in it, and the rest of them being zeros. And then we look at the next one, we hit the yellow button, it's going to move a 4 in. And if we watch it, when we hit what would be the yellow button, that it's shifting that 1 to the next position, or the 2's position. And then finally, we're going to move an 8 in. And that is going to move it to this 3's position. So when we move these values, it makes it where we can use the bit locations to do the same thing we've done in the previous programs. Oops, we don't want to look at that one. That one's a headache. But all right, now let's do this in Studio 5000. In Connecting Components Workbench, and talk about how it works. So I'm going to go offline, And we're just going to create a new connected components workbench program. And while we're doing that, if you haven't already, then please like and subscribe this video. And also, yeah, we have, let's just navigate to one of these while we're waiting on Studio 5000. As if you go to, well, first if you go to twcontrols.com, then you're going to see the subscribe there. Go ahead and subscribe to our newsletter. And up the top, you're going to find all of our lessons. All of our lessons are free, whether you buy our products or not. So you can learn about how to get started in automation, Studio 5000, Connected Components Workbench, HMIs. Here's the podcast right here that actually we're in right now. How to build UL508 control panels. There's an RS500 series, motors, drives, conveyor trainers, industrial wiring, PIDs. I mean, the list just goes on and on. And yeah, if you click on any of these videos, while we're just waiting on that, we'll just click on one of them. And then if you'll go in and hit the watch on YouTube button, oh, and I got to do this actually, yeah, because it's not going to give it to me because I am in the channel owner. But if you go normally, then right below here, you're going to see the subscribe button. If you will hit that subscribe button, we would much appreciate it. And it'll let you know when we're putting out new videos. All right, let's get back to it. So here we are. We're going to click the new button. And we're just going to call this one, well, let's just call this sequence decimal. All right, and under controllers, Micro820, we're going to be selecting the 2080 LC20 20QBB. All right, and yes, most importantly, so I don't have to show you how the SIM IPE works again. We're going to go to configure IP address, and it's going to be 192.168.1.14, subnet of 255.255.255.0. And we are going to create two new programs. So new ladder diagram, and we're going to create another one. And this first one we're going to call our sequence. Oops. Sequence. And our second one will be our outputs. And then let's go ahead and open up our variables. And this time in our alias column, like we're supposed to, we will put a few descriptions in. So, well, I don't know why I've done it the other way every time, but this time I am going to put that this is the green light. I don't know why I was putting light 1 every other time, but green light, yellow light, red light, blue light, blue light, and then down here we are going to have the green button, the yellow button, the red button, and finally the blue, man, I'm struggling to type all of a sudden, button. And then we need to create one variable here, and we're going to call this excuse me, our sequence number, and it will be a dent. All right, let's open up our sequence, And this is going to start looking like Groundhog Day because all these have the same rough structure. It's really how we're tracking the sequence number. And so we're going to bring down and examine if closed, and we are going to look at that sequence. Actually, just double click the sequence number, and then we're going to add bit 0 to it right there. And then same as before, we're going to be looking for that green button on this first time. So we'll go to our IO, and we're going to look at the green button. And in this case, we're going to bring down an instruction block, and we're going to use an MOV move command. And we are going to move a value of 2 into the sequence number. And now we'll just copy that 3 times. Oops. And so if sequence number .1, then we're going to look at the yellow button, and we're going to double this every time. And we have a video that actually goes through how binary works, and that would be a good one to check out if you're not exactly sure what's going on there. This time we're going to move a value of 8, and then to start our sequence over, oops, forgot that's the red button. And then when we're in step number 3, this time we're actually going to move a value of 1 back in, and that's going to reset it. Also, we actually need an initial, and we should talk a little more about that in another video, but we need to get a 1 in this initially. So we're going to put an EQU, so we'll bring down instruction block, EQU, and we're going to be looking for the sequence number to be equal to 0. All right, and then yeah, outputs are going to look very similar to what we've done in all the other videos. Is we're going to let's bring down a rung, and then let's bring down, so don't even need that. Let's grab sequence number .0, and that is going to output the green light. Need that. And we'll copy and paste that 3 times. And then we're going to look for 1, 2, and 3. And that is going to do the yellow light, the red light, and I just realized one thing I forgot was that timer. So let's go to this red one here, and we'll add a branch around it. Oops. And we'll bring an instruction block down. TON. And again, we could name this. So in this case, we could make this the red button delay. Oops, why did I not like that? Red button delay. Okay. I don't know why I didn't like it the first time. And then we'll bring this down, and at this point we can look at the red button delay .q. All right, and let's download this one. Did I put my Ethernet settings in this time? I believe I did. Let's see. Yes. So we should be good to go this time. So we're going to download this. All right, now I got the warning on the Ethernet settings again. What did I do wrong? We'll have to go look at that. Because, yeah, I definitely don't want to have to demo the IP again because I love demoing it, but I don't need to demo it because I made the same mistake twice. All right, it's coming back. And we're going to go there. Let's look at this Ethernet. All right, now one thing I haven't talked about, I mean, I get it. You want to make something graphical, so if you put this cute PLC here, but this may be the biggest pain in the rear thing, is you have this double up arrow here. You can use that and get this thing where you can actually read what is going on here. But okay, so apparently I still don't have my settings right. I bet it has it does. It had a gateway address, and that's what I forgot. There you go. So that fixes that. But okay, let's see if this works. So green light is on, we press green button. Yellow light is on, we press yellow button. And then that didn't work. That did not take a second. So let's figure out what's going on here. We go back to our sequence. Well, it didn't work. All right, what's wrong with this? Anybody in chat seeing anything? What did I do? My mind's starting to fade here, so you're gonna have to help me out more. So let's see. Green button, yellow button. All right, and the delay. Why did it blow right past that delay? Oh, it's going to blow past that because look here, my set point is 0. So it was exactly 0 milliseconds of delay there. So we'll go offline. And yeah, right here need to say T number 1S. And now we can download that and that should fix it. Thank you, John. Yeah, you're right. No timer value. Oops. Oh, okay. We'll fix that later. Yeah, after a while of looking at this, and it can all start crossing on you. It's like, gosh, this should work really fast. But yeah, if you put a 0 preset in there, then yeah, it's going to go right past it. Okay, so let's see how it works now. Oh, and again, I did that without showing y'all what I did. So yeah, what happened was right here, I had no timing in this. And that's why y'all couldn't figure out what was going on. It's because you were sitting there looking at me, staring at a screen. You weren't looking at the actual screen. But okay, so now if we switch back, and I press the green button, and we get a yellow light. I press the yellow and we get a red. Okay, now that works. And I press and hold it. All right, and we get a blue and it goes back. And I would say that this or the final one is the way I would do machine sequencing today. Mainly because I think this is clean. You've got a really obvious, we're in sequence number step 1 right now. And all you gotta know is a little about binary to figure out, okay, well, step 0, that's where I've gotta be. And I mean, mainly I press the green button and it takes me to step 2. And I press the red button and I hold it and it takes me, whoops, I press the yellow button, it takes me to step 3, or step 4, sorry. But there's sequential enough steps that I can find exactly what's going on. Now, there's a couple variants of this that you could do. And I do not, absolutely, positively do not like this next variant. But I do see it, and so if you're going to see it, then we need to talk about it. Is what you'll see people do is instead of using this move command, they want to show, I think they just want to show that they know a thing or two about math. That's all I can figure out. But instead of doing a move here, they'll do a multiply. And they will take the sequence number and they will multiply it by 2. Now think about it a second. First, we gotta go to the bottom. We start out with sequence number 1. Okay, if all that's true and we multiply, we're gonna end up with a 2. And if we do that again, we're gonna end up with, 2, we multiply, we're gonna end up with 4. And 4, we multiply, we're gonna end up, you see, it's gonna double. It does, they are right, it does work. But I don't think this is a good thing. But let's go ahead and go through this so we can see how it works. And my machine is really starting to choke. I don't think it likes streaming and running virtual machines at the same time. Now what's kind of neat about it is you use the exact same thing. So see sequence number times 2 sequence number. Here it is again, sequence number times 2 sequence number. And so we, actually I can just copy that. I don't even have to do all that. Copy that. Paste it right there, delete that. So this is a multiplication example of it. So let's download this so that we can see that it's going to do exactly the same thing. Just going to download with project values. All right, so now, first let's see, does it actually do the exact same thing? So we have a green light, I press the green button, yellow light, I press the yellow button, red light, that doesn't work, I press and hold it, it shifts on, goes back. So this does exactly the same thing. I mean, and my issue with it is the previous way, you just needed to understand slightly that integers are made up of binary bits. Now you need to understand that multiplying numbers by 2 will shift that bit. And I do not think that this is good. I do think that people do this just to show that they know how to do a bunch of neat math. But now let's go to the final one. And this, if I'm doing something today, this actually probably is the way I do it. Let's start fresh. Let's go ahead and create one more program here. And this one will be, what am I even calling this? Sequence move. Yeah, I'll just call it a sequence move. That'll work. And what we're going to create, well, first, let me get through all this before while it's fresh in my mind, let me select a controller and get my Ethernet settings in. It's going to be 192, 168, 114, 255, 250, and then, there was a subnet. That's why it hasn't been matching up the other times. There we go. But if we go over here, this is what we're going to be doing this time. And overall, I think this is kind of almost like the counter method, but it adds a little flexibility. And as you get doing this more, you find that you rarely make the perfect sequence or the perfect machine program off the bat. It takes a lot of modifications. And what I like about this version is it allows for modifications. So first, it's just a basic decimal number. So if the number equals, in this case 10, and we press the green button, it's going to move 20 in. And here 20, press the yellow button, it's going to move 30 in. So it's stepping it up, but it easily allows that, let's say I decide I needed something between the yellow button and the red button. Well, I can make it step 25. So that's what I like about doing this, is when you can kind of spread it out a little bit, and I think it's still easy to follow. So let's do this one. So we're going to make a sequence number, and yeah, the same thing. So let's go make a few variables. Actually, we need to create a few programs. So whoops, a new ladder program. And actually, yeah, we're creating two of them. Okay, and this one will be sequence, and this one will be outputs, and then we're going to create a few variables. All right, so output 0 is still going to be the exact same it's been the whole time. Green, actually, well, we finally got it labeled right. Green light, yellow light, red light, and blue light. And then our inputs are going to be the green button, the yellow button, the red button, and the blue button. And then we're going to add, same thing as last time, we're going to have a sequence number. Well, if I can spell sequence, you can tell the stream is coming to an end when all of a sudden, yeah, I definitely am not spelling very well. Dent. All right, and we'll bring down an instruction block, and this will be an EQU, and we're going to be looking at the sequence number to be 10. And then we're going to look for the green button. So green button, and if that's true, then we're going to use a move instruction, MOV, and we're going to move a value of 20 to the sequence number. And now we're going to copy and paste that. And in this case, if it equals 20, and we see the yellow button, then we're going to move 30 to it. And then if we see 30 and the red button, now we got to have that 1 second in there though, so we're going to need a branch here. Before I forget, that needs to be 40. And we're going to bring another instruction down. This will be a timer. And this will be our red button delay. And then we bring down that and look at the Q button, or Q, you know what I mean, the Q thingy. And so John doesn't have to find it for me next time. We're going to put T number 1S there. And then we're going to have one final one. This one will be a little, actually it's not even going to be different enough to matter. So we're going to copy and paste this. So actually we'll copy this one, doesn't have the timer in it. Paste it here. Oops, paste it in the wrong place. And then if it equals 40, and we select the blue. In this case, we're going to put 10 back into it. And that's going to be how we cycle back through this. So now we're going to need to put our outputs in. And we'll bring this down. EQU. And that'll equal 10. Oops. I don't know how I got that down there. Take that out, put that in. And we'll need a green light. So 10. 20 is going to be the yellow light. 30 is going to be a red light. And finally, oops, 40 is going to be the blue light. You see the sheet. And all right, that's it. And guys, we are winding down here. Let's see how this one works. No, the other one on your computer.
Oh, the sheets. I was going to put it in the wheel.
Okay. So 14. Download with project values. Well, uh-oh. Our final one, and yeah, there definitely is a problem because my green light's not on. What did I miss? Green light, sequence number equals 0. Oops. What did I do up here? Did I take it back to 10? Ah, I forgot. So there's 2 equals here. Did I do that? Let me see how I did this. Yeah. I forgot there's a bottom equals that if it's equal to 0, move 10 into it. And I have forgotten that. So last time, I think, actually no, because I'm going to show you a couple other things of why. Oops, man, that's another time also we lost connection to the controller. We were going offline anyway, so hopefully it doesn't cause us a hitch. But we need a branch around that, and we're going to copy this, and we'll put it right there. Oops, there. That equals 0, and download. Yeah, Michael says the giveaway is happening soon, so stay tuned. You definitely don't want to miss out on that. All right, so we still don't have a green light. Oh, wait, we're not downloaded yet. Okay. Now. Oh, bad when you say now and you still don't have a green light. So I've done something wrong. Move 10. Oh, okay, copy and paste errors. All right, this is only going to be an issue one time, so I can't shortcut it. Man, guys, as much as I want to be done with this blue button should have been over here. So we're going to disconnect one more time, and that's why you got to take your time and make sure it's right. And yeah, I know I could use online edits, but a lot of you don't have a lot of you are using the free version, so I don't want to see you. I don't want to do anything that you can't do. So all right. Try this again. And hopefully this time, I'm going to hit the run button Ah, we got a green light. Okay, so this one should work the same. Press the green button, yellow light comes on, press the yellow button, red light comes on, press the red button. Doesn't work. Got to hold it for 1 second. Blue light comes on, press the blue button, and bam, we're back at the green light. Now, why do I like this one so much? So let's take just a few more minutes just to talk about it. Is mainly what happens on the others. Like, let's just pull one of them up. We got a few of them still open. Like the bit shift left here even. If all of a sudden I need to squeeze something in here, so I need to take and make .1 do something else. I've got to change this to .2, and I got to change this to .3, and I got to change this to .4, and I got to do the same thing everywhere that every one of these is used. I'll have to change it. Now on this, it's not a big deal because we made a small program, but it's still going to be a tremendous amount of work. Whereas on this one, let's say that, oh, what do I want to say? Let's say we want an intermediate step that requires, because we do have switch 1 we haven't used, that requires that switch 1 be turned. So I'm going to put it, actually I'm going to put it between the yellow and the red ones. So here's the yellow, and here is the red. So later on we decide that we need switch 1 to be switched for this to happen. So I can go and just copy this wrong, make sure I'm on the right one, and now I can put 25 here. And I can change this to 25, and I have just inserted something in the middle of my sequence. Now I can select, was 8 switch 1? Well, what's 7? If 7 is, yeah, 7 is a blue button, 8 is switch 1, but yeah, let's take a moment. It should have a description on it. And so yeah, right there, we're going to be switch 1. Oops, I want to spell that right over the last, switch 1. And that's the one we're going to do. So now we can step through, but also let's talk about how we would add it on the outputs, because we've only had one condition. Let's just make it where during that step. So during this new step 25, what do I want to do? 25 will make all the lights turn on. How about that? So we go to our outputs, and right now, if it's equal to 10, the green light comes on. So we're just going to copy this, and then we're going to bring a branch down, and we'll paste that right there, and this will be 25. So now, highlight that, and we also want it on the yellow light, so we're going to hit a branch on that. And then we're going to hit a branch on this one. And we're going to hit a branch on this one. And let's download this. I think Michael's getting hungry. He seems to be sighing a lot more over there. You got to feed him about every 2 hours, it seems like. And yeah, we're past this 2 hour mark, so he's starting to sigh. He looks like he's withering away, and the wind's going to blow him away or something. All right, there we go. So now let's talk about how this one works. So we have the green light, we press the green button, and the yellow light comes on. Now we inserted something here though. So now when I press the yellow light, all the lights came on. And then this still works exactly the same. Oh, wait, but what's our condition? So, okay, I mean, I know it now, it just jogged my memory, but let's go see if we can figure out why this wouldn't run. Because before, I needed to do that next, and it doesn't work. You know, so what do? We sit here and keep pressing the button. Let's go in and make sure we can understand how to figure that out. So if we go here, and we come back in, then we can look at our sequence number. And we can see, okay, we're at sequence number 25. And one, I can look right here at our outputs and see we're at sequence 25. But now I know I can go to my sequence program and I can look here and I can find where is it equal to 25. And okay, it's equal to 25 here, and I'm waiting on switch 1. So now I will go here and switch 1, and that takes us to our red light, which was our previous sequence. That still doesn't work unless we hold it for 1 second, and then finally press the blue button and the green light comes back on. We start all over. So overall, this is absolutely the way that I think is the most versatile. I think it allows for a lot of flexibility. I think it makes it really easy for anyone, whatever brand PLC you're coming from, to understand. And also, we're using really basic instructions here that every PLC supports. So this would be my choice. But hey, what would be your choice? So what did we go through? Let's go here to our Studio 5000. We can look one last time what we went through. So we had our basic counter, and I say this would be my second choice. And it's funny, this is what I did in my first program, 25 some years ago. And then we had this hybrid counter, this other version of it, and I think I would use it if it was a more complicated one, because mainly we can break it up. We don't have a bunch of branches. And then I would not use the seal-in. I mean, this hasn't grown on me any. So I don't think that one's a good one. I would not use the latch one here. I would not use the bit shift left, mainly because it's a very specific instruction to this brand. The move, it's right up there too. It would be number 2 or number 3. I would not use this multiply. I think this is for people that are trying to brag about knowing how to do math. And then finally, yes, I believe this move is the most flexible one, and this probably is what I do, especially on something that I feel that we may end up needing to add some steps or modify. It just allows a lot of flexibility. So I hope this video has been helpful. Michael, am I forgetting anything?
Yes.
I am. Oh yeah, we got a giveaway. So Michael has been tracking chat participants. And who have you chosen?
I have chosen Laura.
Laura? Okay, Laura Gardner is the winner. So Laura, if you're still here, send an email to contact us at twcontrols.com and we will get you your coupon code. So I hope this video has been helpful for this very long, oh gosh, Coaster BP, you just getting in here with the SQO. We did talk about that. We also talked about in the last one, SQO, not going to happen, man. And we talked about the reasons for it. So yeah, hit the rewind button. Do they call it rewind in YouTube? Yeah. But yeah, we did address that in here. But I hope this has been helpful. Which sequence method do you like the best? So put that down in the comments. And again, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. And hey, if you like this, then give us suggestions. How would you like for us to do the next live stream? Do you want to see something similar? Do you want us to go back to picking apart programs that that are sent to us? Let us know in the comments. Until next time. Hey, this is Tim.
And this is Amber of TW Controls. We run the automation store. Hey, thanks for finding our channel.
Here's a playlist with some similar videos.
And YouTube thinks you'll like this video.
Please like our video and subscribe to our channel.
And if our videos have helped you make some money and you're not using our products, please consider supporting us on Patreon.
Till next time.
See ya!